Hey there, and welcome everybody. So today we are live again, and hopefully I can actually see the chats, because in the past few days I haven't actually been able to see the chat. Here we go. Alright, so I have a chat up right now, which I hope that this can actually stay on here, so that I can actually see what's going on, what's being said or spoken or communicated. Otherwise, I lose all the. I was just looking at my live stream from yesterday, and it seems like tons of people were like chatting, but I wasn't able to communicate because they weren't popping up on this new way that I'm streaming. So, how do I get rid of this one chat though? So anyway. I use this new app called Prism Studio, but they don't let you get rid of their little watermarks. So we'll leave that up for a bit until I can find a different solution. But yeah, I really don't like the watermark. But you know what? They've been a very helpful app, and I want to go into some of these streams and at least edit them real quick to give more information. That is one thing about this Prism Studio, is it's great, but it works better than some of the other ones I've used. However, you can't really edit live and on the fly. So I'm looking for a way to looking for ways to improve my live stream. So if any of you are technical people, definitely feel free to share some better ways of streaming or whatever. I'm always open to them. But so far, Prism Studio seems to be the best one. It's just like the only problem with Prism Studio I've seen is that you can't really edit your stream directly from it. So that's a challenge, but I'm going to go ahead and edit this directly. So let's edit this directly. Edit. And we're going to put the question of this LiveLog. I'm going to call it LiveLog. We're gonna make a topic for this stream. Hey, Steve Contulis, welcome. Great to know that I can finally see the chats here. This is fantastic. And I wonder if I actually need this window then. If I actually need this window. Let's see what happens if I exit out. Oh, cool. Alright, so it looks like I can actually see the chats. So hello, welcome, Steve. LiveLog, our studies a waste of time. A live vlog and stream of artwork. So here we go. I'm gonna update my YouTube to have some more information in the description. Just give me 1 second here as I do this before I dive in and get to chat more. But feel free to say hello. Tell us what you're about, what you're working on. Introduce yourself. All right, so we got Big Daddy 1123. All right, Steve. So looks like it's good night for you. So thanks for jumping in before your bedtime. That's cool. Or your bedtime or whatever. I don't know what you would call it. But yeah. So here we go. So the theme of this live vlog, get it? A live vlog. It's a bit late. I'm going to be leaving, hoping to catch another one of my streams. Cool. Thanks so much. Another one of these live vlogs is this idea of I'm going to try to think of a topic to come up with for each one. But, as an artist, here's a question. Like, are studies worth it, right? So, you know, when we think of artists, we think of like artists that are constantly like they're putting out their next masterpiece or whatever. And I think today, with the time pressures, there's always this pressure to constantly be making like a new work, you know, like an actual painting, a full sketch rather than studies and things like that. And you know, I can't help but wonder, is going through this book and actually making a challenge for myself for the sake of YouTube live streaming, is going through this book. It's about 426 pages of exercises and plates and drawings, some of them repeated. You know, is going through this book really worth it? This will probably take me a couple months to finish. So there's an important question there of whether, you know, doing these are studies is even worthwhile. So I don't know. Should I do full-on paintings, or should I do these whatever I want to call them, pseudo exercises? Are they even, you know, going to improve the work I do? Now, you know, in my mind, I think the answer is obvious. Yes, all of this stuff is, anything you do creatively helps you to improve in your craft, so long as you know, learn along the way. But at the same time, you know, it's so easy to think, oh, I shouldn't need to do exercises because I should just, you know, do this whole painting or whole drawing because that's what everybody else does on social media. So there's like a lot of pressure as an artist to skip the hard work, right? Like, it's, I don't want to call it hard work, right? Exercises are not that hard, but to skip the mundane work, the work that helps you to train and all that, and kind of just go from just diving right in. But I think some of this work's important. So Riley, hello, welcome. There goes my beginning rant, and let's see. So last we finished. This is what we worked on last night. So just a few faces, and usually what I do is I don't draw them. So obviously you would look at a face and they would go straight on. But usually when I do these studies, is I do the studies as they're presented in the book, and in the book they were presented facing differently. I like to do that as a way to train my brain to see rather than try to assume, if that makes sense. Because when you assume things while you're drawing, you can make mistakes. But if you actually see and try to interpret, then, you know, or don't add your own interpretations, you can sometimes come up with more accurate things. But let's see. Also, the amount of pressure you apply on the pencil or tool matters a lot. Yeah. So, you know, I was talking about pressure, like as a concept of a social pressure that makes you, you know, feel like you have to do some things a certain way. But yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, pressure on a pencil or tool, for sure. That can matter a ton. So I'm on this last head at the bottom here. So let's go into that and just dive in. So cool. All right, Riley, I'm glad that made sense to you. So, yeah, I'm glad that you're able to tune in and think of this as like a way to chat and talk about art. It's Sunday. I'm guessing the majority of us, whether you're watching or including myself included, have work tomorrow or some form of school or whatever. So it's nice to be able to spend these last few moments with your favorite YouTuber or Facebooker. Because I'm live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You can find me on all those platforms. But yeah, wild to think. The last thing I want to do is take up any of your valuable time without adding value back. So, you know, if any of you ever have any questions, thoughts, if you want to self-promote, things that you do, you know, within reason, feel free to. This is an open forum. An open forum for all. So let's see here. We've got Riley. You got school tomorrow, sadly. Well, hey, here's a question. Why is that sad? Why do you feel sad going to school? I mean, you don't really have to share if it's personal, but but you know, it is a sad thing. Some people do feel sad when they go to school. I can't say I ever felt sad going to school, but you know, there's definitely times when I was not looking forward to going to school. But I can't say I've ever felt sad or scared or uncomfortable going to school, fortunately. But I would say that's not always the norm, because we can all have some very, very different experiences with school. Oh, yeah, because it's boring? Yeah, school could be boring. It can be, that's true. And what would you rather be doing instead of school? What would be so much better than school? Ah, watching my lives. Hey, thank you. Wow, that's quite the compliment there. For sure. I guess that's, find that more interesting. But like you got so many, don't you, like at school, you got like friends, you got, people that you like but you're scared to talk to. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the people in your school that you like but you might be scared to talk to. Do you have anybody like that? Maybe it's somebody you got a crush on. I challenge you that instead of watching more YouTube lives, this will make your life 100 times better. That in the next week or so, you'll like the people that you see in your school that you want to talk to. They might make fun of you after. I can't guarantee that everybody will like you, but the people that you want to talk to them. So let's see. Your friends are fake. They're mean to you. Well, that sucks. Yeah, but that could be, that's gonna happen throughout your entire life. Like, can't let that, can't let that, can't let that make school bad for you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, school can be cool. Stay in school. This girl that was your friend, she stole the boy that was your boyfriend. So yeah, all right. Well, that's interesting. So how does that, I mean that's definitely the premise for a movie or a TV show. TV show episode. And probably a thing that happens quite a lot, not just on TV, but in real life. And it's sad. It sucks when it happens. And I think that's a very, very brave of you to share that live on air. Because I think that one day sets you up to be a reality TV show star. If you're that open with this type of stuff. That's cool. One thing I didn't know until I moved to Los Angeles is the sheer amount of people that dream of becoming a reality TV star. It's quite a lot, and I was surprised by that. What's up, Mem? Thanks so much for the subscription. Appreciate you. Thanks. So, Mem, tell us a bit. Where you're from. How old are you? Or you don't have to share any of that information. Actually, it's personal, but I'm trying to think of like a radio show host, Okay, caller number 752. Where you're from, and where do you go? What do you call yourself? And what's your question you have for us today? What is my profile picture? I actually don't know what my profile picture is, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. I can't see it right now. I don't remember what I updated. What's it look like? Can you describe it to me? It might just be one of my paintings, honestly. If I had to bet, it would probably just be one of my paintings or drawings. Well, I get quite the audience. Oh, good times. So are you two looking to become artists? Do you like to draw or paint, or do you just want to become YouTube streamers one day? That's a dream for many people nowadays. Many young people. Just becoming YouTube streamers, because you could do great with anything. I don't know. What do you want? What do you feel they should stop? What is it that you feel upset about, Mem? Let's have some conflict resolution. What exactly is upsetting you right now? So here we go. We're in the process of, we're gonna paint this through and update the eyes, round out the eyes a bit, round out the eyes. And now let's go for, we're gonna go orange around this face. He won't come down. Hey, I mean, this isn't class, or this isn't like school or anything. So, this is the internet, a place where people get to run wild and pretend to be things that they're not. You know what I mean? Or to pretend, or to release the best versions of themselves. I am not the internet police. So, whatever. Now, as long as he keeps it, as long as Riley here keeps things civil, we won't have to worry about kicking or banning. But for the most part, keep it civil. No need to make fun of each other. What's funny is this idea of a YouTube streamer doing more babysitting than parents. Can you imagine that? The YouTube, that might be a funny idea. The YouTube babysitter. They have to live stream, and basically I guess that's what school was like a couple years ago, right? Like, basically just had a teacher sit in a room and keep track of all the kids. I could see the YouTube babysitter being a thing. All right. I guess YouTube is the best child sitter. If you need your kids to chill out for a couple hours or something, have them watch some YouTube. But anyway, I will share what we're doing here in a moment as I finish up this head. I gotta get some shadow and I gotta get some different colors on here. So let's go with a darker green into some of this area here. Let's see where this nose needs to go. Nose. And let's get another eyebrow like right there. Okay. Why does it feel like the two of you know each other and you just like go into different live rooms like a Twitch raid? You know, despite the fact that you two don't like the way the other person chats, you two are very similar. And I think it is in those differences and those similarities that will help you be best friends. So, there you go. You two are much more similar than you think. And here we go. So we're gonna go take this face and bring it down.
I lost the freaking application after all that work.
After all that stuff I wrote.
Well, I didn't lose your email.
Yeah, but you're not gonna send it in now.
Why?
Because you lost it.
I have to redo it.
Oh, alright.
What do you mean
Are you gonna do it?
Of course. I'm just freaking pissed off. I can't believe that happened. It's like, why? It should be there. Why can't I recover it? I have to go to Glendale. Return that guy's key. I'm so stressed right now. I can't believe it disappeared. 2 days. There's somebody that should be able to recover it, though, right? Can people do that?
I don't know. It depends on the context of what happened.
I think I hit the wrong X. So there's a million tabs open.
I don't know what to tell you.
You don't know how to do that?
You gotta figure it out. I don't know.
Oh.
All right. You got... All right, cool. Got the halls and the teachers. All right, cool. So anyway, let's go with this. I'm gonna stick with this drawing right here, and we're gonna go around the head here. Just draw the head itself. So let's go like this, and come around. I knew I should have waited until you finished the application when we're ready to send it in before I did it.
I was ready to send it in. I was trying to attach it to the website to send in. And then everything disappeared.
Okay. All right, so let's do this. And here we go. So, huh?
It's perfect. It's all ready to go.
All right. So here we go. All right. So y'all are livening up the room. That's great. Keep it live. All right. Big guy ND, welcome. What's going on? Welcome to. Oh yeah. You know, I've had that advice before. The only issue is though is I'm streaming on YouTube too. I'm streaming on YouTube as well, and I haven't decided whether. So more people tend to jump in when you stream on YouTube if you do it vertical, because that's like a new thing they do now. But yeah, I was thinking about trying to decide whether I should do landscape or portrait. But no, appreciate that. Appreciate you looking out, sharing some thoughts. Funny though, last time I streamed like this on Twitch, I had a different stream that I was doing, and I got, you know, people like to share that wisdom. If only I could pick, like, hey, this is the vertical, this is the portrait mode or whatever. But yeah, I actually live stream mostly on YouTube, so I've decided to go for the portrait mode. But if it becomes requested enough, I might do. You know, I'm still testing this out. I just started using this app called Prism, and I use it to multi-stream. Highly recommend it. I actually started with this app called Stream. Yeah, exactly, Prism something. I actually started with this app called Streamable or something, but I had so many technical issues. It was really annoying. And then I finally found this piece, which is great. This Prism Live. I was actually going to do another one too. I tried another app, and none of them seemed to work the way I needed them to. So finally found this one, and I like how this is going so far. If you have any recommendations, I even got an account on. Yeah, I even got an account for Streamable. Had an account there, paid for Ultra, and they just had so many glitches and issues. I just couldn't deal with it, and the support was kind of goofy because I tried to ask for support, and I was like, you know, my YouTube stream is having issues, and then they're like, oh, it's because of YouTube. Yeah, I used to use OBS, but here's the funny thing: is my mobile streaming is, the mobile phone that I have is better than my laptop. I can stream more smoothly on my mobile than I can on my laptop. And also for this purposes, you know, getting the camera set up and all that, it's just, it's so much easier with mobile. So yeah, I mostly use mobile. But yeah, OBS is great. I'm disappointed with the apps though. I'm disappointed with the streaming apps. That's for sure. Very disappointed with the various streaming apps. Except for Prism. Finally found this app, so I think I'm good to go. I just don't like the Prism, how they have their watermark. Hopefully they get rid of that one day. But anyway, here's what we got. Got our first face study for this piece. The last of them on page 7 here. So we're gonna be moving into this next page right here. I think the face just gets bigger is the only difference. These faces get bigger. as in I've already been doing big streaming. So alright, yeah, so not much streaming apps for mobile. You feel that Prism Live is the best option for mobile streaming. Cool, good to know. Especially multi-streaming. I've used a couple apps for multi-streaming. I got this other one. It was like Camerify, but then you need to get a membership to another streaming app, and then you have to like, it was crazy. So I don't know. Prism is the way to go for sure. So you stream too? You're a regular streamer. ND. So is ND like North Dakota? Are you from North Dakota? I think the chances of somebody being from North Dakota is like 1 in 20,000. I don't know, maybe even less than that. Maybe 1 in every 100,000 people is probably from North Dakota. Alexa, what's the population of North Dakota?
According to the 2020 U.S. Census, the population of North Dakota is 779,000 people, which is a 15.8% increase over the 2010 U.S. Census.
So let's just say 800,000 people. Alexa, what's 400 million divided by 800,000?
400 million divided by 800,000 is 500.
500. Okay, so 1 in 500 Americans lives in North Dakota, give or take. So that's not bad. I guess wasn't too bad. Let's see. So not always, no direction. All right, cool. No direction. That's a. If you're from North Dakota. So North Dakota is an interesting state because if you look at a map and you look at all the major highways, right? You got the highways that cut across like north south. So it's like the 5, the 15, the 25, the 35, the 45, all the way across to the 95. And then you take highways that go horizontally. So you got the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50, all the way up. None of those major important highways cross through North Dakota. And I think only part of, like barely one of them touches South Dakota. So North Dakota and South, I think it's North Dakota and South Dakota. North Dakota and South Dakota are like states that have no major highway cutting through them. It's pretty crazy. Which means that, it's probably like nothing that, like, I don't even know how to begin to, I don't know what's there. Like, if you don't have a major highway system, it's just, what do you do there, So anyway. Cool. All right. So you said you're a Meemaw? Meemaw. All right. So Meemaw would be grandmother, correct? A Meemaw is a grandmother? Shirley. Yeah, so I'm talking to, so yeah, I'm talking to 3 different streams actually. I have a Facebook stream going on too, and yeah, now I know it's one of those things. I gotta figure out how I can consolidate, but yeah, talking to whoever pops up in chat. Now, funny enough, my Facebook stream has some viewers. And interesting enough, my Facebook stream is actually people that probably know me because they're probably Facebook friends, but they're not saying anything. That's all good. So let's see. I'm doing this nose right now. So I'm using this book right now. So far, this is a great book for drawing. The Ultimate Bargue Collection. And it teaches drawing without using any words. They don't tell you anything. You just kind of figure it out by just copying all these different pieces. So what was your experience with Facebook? I finally got invited to monetize my Facebook. And I think it's going to take a while because I haven't been invited to the ads necessarily, but you know what? They're actually inviting me to do stuff, so I feel obligated to test it out. We'll actually see how that goes. But so far, you know, I'm not sure about Facebook. I can't say that, you know, I'm too enthusiastic about it. We'll see what happens. But let's see. Let's get this nose. Let's get some of these eyes here. Oh no, I drew this nose way too small. So this nose needs to be a bit bigger. So let's do this. We're gonna block it out here a little better, update it, fix some of these pieces of the nose. Just like me, most friends, family, saturated, random browse in there, rather like on Twitch where people are looking for a specific channel to watch. If I want to target people who want to look for art, change the category from my Twitch dashboard. That way, maybe some viewers who are looking for art streamers, they'll discover. Yeah, you know, I know how to do that from Twitch, but for whatever reason, I think I get more viewers from the just chatting, because I don't know. For whatever reason, I have to experiment more with that of testing, but I do know that there's like an art stream that you can do. I started with that, but the first day I got like not a single person, and I've actually done these streams in the past, and for whatever reason, just chatting, you get way more people. Something tells me that, and I think it's not like inaccurate, right? Like I'm just chatting. I just happen to be doing art while I'm chatting. So I don't think it's like misleading or anything. But yeah, ND, my YouTube live is very, very chatty right now, which is great. Mem and 1123. It's great to see people argue in a very civil way. Sort of open market, I guess. Leaving it as just chatting, we're bringing more generic viewers. Yeah, I mean, still got to do some testing there, but for now, whatever works. Unless you have any hard data you want to share, like hard tangible data that's like, you know, they're able to be like, yeah, so, you know, if you do art, you're much more guaranteed to find viewers that, etc., etc. Alright, so this face is gonna look pretty jacked up, but we're gonna go with this. So adding some shadows into here.
I'm gonna roam the streets till I find somebody that can help me with this.
Okay. Roam those streets. Huh?
I'll hold the side. Help. Website recovery needed. Help. It is there. The information is there. Here. The treats in the bowl. Eat the street?
Yeah, she's that cat that you're hearing, interestingly enough, she's been slowly deteriorating for the past few weeks until we got her to the vet the other day and found out she had thyroid issues. So she's been slowly, like, she was 5 pounds the other day, you know, full grown adult cat, 5 pounds, and then today she's begging for food. She wasn't eating for like a couple weeks, or eating her usual amounts. So that is a cat in recovery. That is a cat in recovery. And good to know that, you know, she is okay and chatty again. But yeah, if you have any other thoughts, ND, about, I'll call you ND since you're on Twitch. I have to separate. We got Mem, Big Daddy 1123, and Big Guy ND. Alright, babe, see ya. Big Guy ND. And yeah. But always open to hear ideas and thoughts about ways to stream better, stream more. But Mem, look, if Big Daddy were to leave, you'd have no one else to argue with. It's like, you know, he's like your big or little brother that won't leave you alone, or big or little sister that won't leave you alone. And then when they finally do leave you alone, you'll wish they didn't leave you alone. So this is probably gonna be the worst head I make because I've messed up the overall structure. So we're just gonna play with this head, and we're really gonna mess around with it, give it some happy accidents. So as Bob Ross would always say, there's no such thing as a mistake, only happy accidents. So we're really going to dig into that and see what we can make of this as we transform it from a mistake into a happy accident. And we're going to try a few different colors with this. Everyone has their own unique views and styles on streaming. There's no right or wrong to it. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's true for sure, like whichever one works, but you know, there's also ways that work for the viewer, right? Like Mr. Beast didn't become successful because he only streamed streamed the ways he thought would be best. He streamed literally studying YouTube every single day with his friends. I'm sure you know Mr. Beast is. He studied the YouTube every single day with his buddies, and they figured out how to master it, and he just grew from there. You know, I truly think that there's people such as myself that can get so stuck in a way of doing things, stubborn. You know, people like myself, they're stubborn in a way of doing things that can be an Achilles heel. And then there's people like Mr. Beast who truly understands what people want to see, and he'll give it to them. And you know, that I think that's the difference between a really good YouTube streamer, content producer, and someone like myself who's, you know, slowly building up an audience. Yeah. I think YouTube definitely is one of those things where you can get feedback so quickly, and you know, sometimes you just gotta say maybe my content needs to change. I make so many of these YouTube shorts, and it's funny to see, you know, how I can spend 2-3 hours. And, you know, a lot of people spend way more time. But just for example, 2 or 3 hours editing, you know, a video. a short and, you know, it gets like 100 views, but then I'm out and about and I see this like a helicopter flying and I take a video of the helicopter and that gets 20,000 views in like less than a day. So let us stay, but you're not slept. Wow, 8:42 a.m. Hey, thanks so much, ND. Take care. I'll definitely think about doing it horizontal. We'll probably switch between the both over time, but yeah, great to chat with you. See you around. Yeah, right on. Cool. So here we go. We're gonna paint into this head right here. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna paint in more of this nostril here. You know what I need? I need to change up the colors here. This orange and green one, I need to go add some blue on the front here. And for those of you tuned in still, Mem, big guy, or 1123, we'll go ahead and share some of the progress here in a few moments. Now, you two are like peas in a pod, you know. Without yin, there is no yang. Alright, so working with these oil pastels, we're using right now the Expressionist brand by Craypa. And gonna color in on this forehead, give it some shape, unharden some of these angles here, tighten up some of the nose. Let's see this chin. Oh yeah, the chin does come out a little bit. So I'm gonna let this chin come out a little bit. All right. So here's what we got so far. We got these two. This interesting face here. I messed up on the nose, so I'd made the nose a little too small. So I went ahead and fixed it. But as you can tell, like, you know, once you start to get the main shapes and everything, you can really start to bring things together. Not too difficult. I think it's doable by most of us. And this has been a great book it doesn't really teach you how to do it. It's kind of like, hey, this is what you should do, and just do it. There's no like hand holding explaining how you should do it. So let's see. Let's actually just sketch out this face without all the extra color here and see what we can come up with. So here we go. All right, and what we're working on here, we're going to continue drawing down this face here. Let's get this eye. This eye is much smaller than I've been anticipating. So got to get used to that. One thing about drawing in this way is I can't really get the subtle shapes. The thing about drawing with oil pastels is it's hard to get the subtle shapes, but you can at least get color and start to create some volume, which is nice. And here we go. All right, and here's a little update. So we've got just a quick sketch of the simple sketch plus the colored sketch. So we're basically doing each of these like twice, or I guess like each one once, but one of them has color and the other one doesn't. This is great fun studies because you really get to dive into some of the details you might not pay attention to on first look, because you know some of the lines of like the cheeks as they come about, it's hard to like see those things when you're just studying art or studying how to draw a human face. Those are things that can easily pass you by without giving it more notice or attention. But they're important parts, very important parts that can easily go by your filter. And here we go. So we're gonna go down like that, and we're gonna have this piece right here. And let's bring this around. So this is gonna come down. And this is going to come down too. And these two are going to bump noses. That's funny, right? We're going to bump some noses here. I'm going to go. So that's going to come around like so, a little bit past. And here we go. So we'll share a little bit of an update here in a moment, but I can already see this nose is a little bit too angled. There's a bit of a slope to this nose. So we're going to try to decrease that slope a bit. Let's just decrease this slope just a little bit. Alright, that's a little better. And we're going to go with the eyes right here. So let's do some eyes. Eyes are about that far apart. And let's go, we're going to do this next eye part here. let's go down right like this. And for those of you tuning in, so the overall theme of this live vlog, I'm coining a new term right now, live vlog. Instead of a vlog or a blog, it's a live log. So anyway, the overall theme of this are these studies a waste of time? You know, I feel like historically, studies would not be a waste of time because, you know, it is through the exercises that you do that you'll come up with some of your great ideas, your exciting ideas. But I think with technology, you know, with these live streams that I do, there's this added pressure that, you know, I have to be making something. I have to be creating like a work. You know, I have to be creating like a piece. Some type of work that's a complete piece. And because of that, there's this false sense of pressure that everything has to be a piece rather than a study. I think that's an interesting idea, you know, a thing that maybe some artists have to think about, right? Should I make like whole pieces? Or, you know, I think there's definitely some artists who they study so much or they practice so much doing exercises that they never really get to the work that's going to sell. That's they never get to that stuff. And here we go. Ooh, look at this line here. All right. So I'm going to say right off the top that my head looks a little bit wider than typical, but that's okay. So let's give this figure some blonde hair. We're gonna work in blonde hair. We're gonna work in blonde hair for this figure here. So it needs some blonde hair, and we're gonna work that in. Work in the blonde hair. And yeah, that's the theme for today's live log. But it's also something interesting, right? Let's talk about materials. So as far as materials go, I had this interesting philosophical thought when it comes to these oil pastels. You know, I think as people, we have this ability, as human beings, we have this ability to mold, manipulate, transform, and, you know, turn physical material objects and bend them to our wills. And, you know, that's part of what art is literally transforming things into what we want them to look like. And at the same time, I have this dilemma, right? So I use these oil pastels, and they can be pretty clunky to work with. So they can be very clunky, right? Like you see there, it's not a fine tip point. I guess it does have more of a fine tip, but you know, it's also very thick and bold, and it comes up with thick lines compared to if you're drawing with a pencil or a pen and you're doing some very fine line work. But, you know, using these thick pieces, I have this dilemma. Should I manipulate this, you know, take control of this and carve it into the exact thin shape that I need to draw with, or should I allow it as is in its state right now? Is that perfect? Is it in its most perfect state as it should be right now? Do I need to mold it? This is a little bit of a pseudo philosophical esoteric wisdom or thoughts for you. It's the type of thought that an overthinker thinks, right? So let's go ahead and do. We're gonna give this figure some pink eyes or some red eyes. This is more of a red. Let's give him some red eyes. And then we'll go with a turquoise for the head here. So let's go ahead and start to curve out some of this figure, curve around, soften some of the edges and the curves of the head here. We're going to take some dark blue. And I almost totally forgot about the shadows. Can't forget about these shadows here. So almost forgot about these shadows. Gotta get those in. Get some of these shadows in before we really start to add the rest of these colors here. And is everyone doing fantastic? Those of you tuned in right now, how you doing? Sometimes I think I speak English a little too quickly. I've only recently started to realize how a lot of people that watch might be from other countries that don't speak English as a first language, as a first main language. And, you know, that is starting to occur to me that maybe I should speak slower sometimes. And that can be pretty difficult. Which is why I think Bob Ross is one of the gifts of human life and art, is because he had this ability to both like speak wisdom or share wisdom, or at least share, you know, things that sound like wisdom, while also being able to paint. As I do this work myself, I find it very difficult to, you know, it's a challenge to come up with good stuff, good words, while also at the same time doing art and creating something. So I just find that really interesting. You know, now that I do all this talking on live stream, and sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's what am I even talking about, right? Like I lose track of what am I even saying. And the more and more I do it, the more and more I think Bob Ross is quite a spectacular human being. And, you know, I'm sure some of his stuff was scripted, but the fact that he could just like speak so slowly and calmly with such a relaxing tone of voice, that is truly quite a skill to have. And he did it while he was actually drawing and painting, which is pretty amazing. Because it is not an easy thing to do. It is not an easy feat, in my opinion. So here we go. What I'm working on right now, I'm bringing in the colors, bringing in the oil pastels to sculpt out and shape out our figure here. Laying it on nice and thick here. Nice thick layer. Maybe we'll switch it up a little bit. Let's see, what's another good color here? Go with this lighter blue. I'm going to switch up some of these colors here, just to add a little bit of variety in color, even though even though might not be necessary for what we're working with here. So here we go. We're gonna go that. We're gonna add even a different color for this part, just to have something different to look at. And let's go to start add some color into this beard here. I'm gonna go with a blonde beard. I'm gonna mix up some of these colors a bit, and I'm pretty sure this probably goes up a little higher too. Maybe it goes up all the way to the top of the hairline. Let's start to fill in some more of these colors, shall we? And for those of you tuning in right now, just wrapping up the color part of this sketch here. Wrapping up a color part of the sketch with oil pastel. And you know what I love about oil pastels is basically that oil pastel does the work for you. It really does. It does the work for you. And you can see the results, the benefits of using the colors of oil pastels pretty quickly. And even if the colors aren't like in the right and perfect spot, even if there's like times when there's a little bit of confusion when you're looking at it directly, once you start to really, when you look at your drawing from like far away, you can see like how the texture actually adds to the final piece. And how the layers seem to like build on top of each other. So I'm gonna do one more quick sketch of this before we dive in and show what has been created. Let me just draw a sketch of the face over here. So we're going to go like so. Get the hair just right. Go up and around. Up and around. Come down, turn the corner here for the hair. The hair is very interestingly designed, intricately designed. So it's like this for a reason. But it's also very stiff, this hair, because all these are based off of like cast models. So that's one thing about this book is like, it's not modern, but there's nothing wrong with classical either, right? So you're not going to learn how to draw hyperrealism, but you are going to know how to copy and analyze and study like a face. And this has the classical tastes with a lot of like straight edges and things like that. So that's going to come down right around there. Bring that down a bit. Let's bring this down. And another eyelid. There's some really thick eyelids on these figures here. Some really thick eyelids. And we're gonna go with this, paint this in, get the eye down here. I think this nose isn't long enough. I think the forehead's way too small. So, you know, just knowing what I already like have in, I guess, unless the hairline, you know, the hairline is like right here on this this bust, which I think is pretty low for a hairline. So I just find it interesting. You know, the classical proportions don't necessarily match up with what's real. So are you really learning to draw a person, or are you just learning to draw a classical mannequin, essentially? So that would be my criticism of classical drawing styles, is what are you really learning to study? And I guess the idea is, if you can draw classically, you know, you can draw however you want, but at the same time, what habits are you going to have to break out of as far as drawing theory goes? So here we go, got the hairs. All right, so here we go. Got the second of the heads here. Here's our first one. We had a happy accident on a nose, so I went ahead and did a couple different colors just to play with some of the abstractness of it. Went with another head right here. I went with the blue. Messed around with some of the colors here. But what I really liked about this one is that you can really start to see the textures of the hair when you layer, when you start to layer oil pastels on top of each other. You really see see the oil pastels do their thing, work their magic. All right, we've got at least 5, 2, 4, 6, 8 more faces to draw before we move on to the ear. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this sideways and draw the face here on the side instead of side to side. Fold that a bit. Come on, page, stay. Oh, 99 plus something. So anyway, I'm going to start with this next face here. Let's go with another face. And we're going to go like this. Let's draw this face here. And one thing I'm going to try to do is not have my wrist touch any of these other places. So let's do this. If we're going to have two angles come down right here, we got to make this just a little bit thicker than the angle that we're going to have. So a little bit wider. That looks about right. longer here. It's about the same length, and then bring down an angle. And here we go. So let's go like that, and then there we have it. So bring this down, bring the eye down a little bit past to there. So it curves around. And then back. There we go. And then something a little bit off of the straight line. And that's that. And this is definitely a study on caricature. So many different face shapes and varieties in this book. Even though it's still all classical. But even Leonardo da Vinci drew caricature, which is quite interesting because we always think of like classical artists as these serious people, but you know, I'm sure they all had senses of humor too. I guess you kind of have to be an artist, right? Otherwise it can be hard. All right, so we've got this face drawn in. Now let's go for some design here. He definitely has a beard. So since he has a beard, let's go with what's a good color for beard? Let's imagine he has a dark black beard, or dark. What's a good color for a beard? Like brown, black. Let's go for a dark brown beard here. So we're gonna do the beard nice and brown. go green lips. Let's do green, a green lip here. And for the shadows, we're gonna go with black shadows. So usually black's this like funny color that I really like, but it gets a negative rap as far as colors go because it's so dark. But it gets like a bad rap for no reason. Or I guess there's a reason. They say, oh, you'll never find this, like a super like dark matte black in nature. You'll never find it. And that's like a reason why people don't like to use it in their paintings or drawings or whatever. But I love using it personally. So here we go. Draw a couple of the shadows out. Get the shadow around the nose.
Nice. What's to eat? Let's eat.
Give it some white eyes. So give the eyes like a white glow. Marble-esque glow. And then for the skin color, we'll go with let's go with a peach. I think this peach will be fun because it'll help spread some of the black that we used around to help create a little bit of a grittiness as far as the color goes. And let me go down into some of the corners and the edges here. Now let's give the facial hair some bit more texture, a little bit more design. We'll even add a couple white hairs, some stray whites. Stray white hairs. And now, let's go do the sketch of this face, and then we'll move on to the next section. So here we go. Do the general sketch and outline of the front of the face here. So how are the cats?
Oh, they were so happy to see me.
Yeah,
We're moving to Dallas.
they are.
Packing up now. It's like, you guys just got back. Packing up.
All right, well, I hear Dallas is a nice place.
Money.
Huh?
It's full of money.
Yeah. And here we go. So and now let's do this. So we're gonna go this. Coming around the top corner here. Bring this down, this eye past the nose, and then a little bit past as the eyebrow comes down. Just talking through some of these pieces, you know, it helps to think through each and every line that you're making as far as proportion goes. And then and there we have it. So we got this last face back here. And what I like about oil pastels is, on one hand, this is as much of a challenge, makes as much of a challenge to work with as it is like something neat. But, you know, I guess we all have our own interpretations of things. But there's like, you know, working with this, you see some of the black kind of come up and come out of the black area. And I probably could have like gone around it and been more careful. But, you know, I do find that it adds a little bit more character to it. You know, you can kind of see, it adds a grittiness that, you know, if you're too neat with it, you're not able to capture that idea. So note to self, if I do work on this in the future, it might be interesting to see how different colors kind of like interact, from like reds or blues, and how they start to do different things. I mean, I am noticing how they interact here as I start to do more work, but definitely as you start to do more, you start to want to see different things. But I do find it interesting how long each of these studies takes. So I think I've done 1, 2, 3, and it's taken me about an hour and a half. So these take about 20 minutes apiece. I feel the benefits of spending that extra time with some of these pieces. Whereas if I was just drawing them with a pen, I'd draw 1, 2, 3, done. 1, 2, 3, done. But when I work with the colors, there's this extra layer. There's definitely an extra layer of challenge to yourself, or to myself, to add. Trying to see if this is even enough space. 1, 2. Yeah, I guess it's enough. Oh. Let's do this. All right, let's go here. It's almost a straight line, so we're gonna start with an almost straight line. Go 1. Just 1. And then 2. Subtly curved line 2. 3. Bring that down a bit. And here we go. So we got this line right here. Bring this in. And here we go. Bring this down. Come around. Get a nice angular line here. Go double that. So one thing great about this, learning from this material here, the ultimate Bargue drawing collection, is, there's nothing like overly complicated about it. You do have to trust yourself and your own judgment of like line lengths or measurements and proportions. You do have to trust your judgment, but at the end of the day, that's, they keep it simple. That's really all there is to it. If you can just spend the time to look at the measurements and eye things, or if you really want to get extra credit, you actually measure them out. If you want to make that effort, you will quickly start to see your improvements on these drawings, and I think that's a great way to learn and study. That I think a lot of books miss nowadays, because I think a lot of books today, they feel like they have to add a lot of words and talk about this and explain things, but I think where this book kind of proves that wrong is that that's not true. You don't necessarily need to explain things for everybody. Although it can help to know like what you're doing or why you're doing things. Where I guess this book can fall flat is if you do feel like you need explanations and things. This book can definitely fall flat. So let me think. This head and nose is way big compared to the lip and the lips look so dainty. But maybe that's okay. So let's go like this. Yeah, the more I look at these, the more I think, oh, these are like totally, these proportions are like are very off. Let's go ahead and do this. All right, what color do we want this? We're gonna go, what color were the last ones? We did orange, green. We haven't done like a dark green head yet, so let's start with that. And in order to make the eyes stand out, we'll go with red eyes. Let's do the red eye. And we're going to go with very dark green for our shadow. Because the studies right here, what they do is they add these shadow spaces, so you know you can see around the eyes where you start to want to form the shadows. So I'm going to use like a dark green. I'm gonna make the face green, but I want to do the shadows with a dark green, and start to shape out how these shadows are going to look. And here we go. So with anything, you know, it's never about one way, one wrong or right way to do things, but I do like the idea of like learning how the original drawing people might have studied. And like before this book even became a thing, you know, it's probably even more inaccessible, because not only did you have to have the time to afford, you had to have the time and the money to afford models and these classes, and not only that, but you had to, in order to like even participate in some of these classes, you had to be part of like a royal family or something, which for some people is totally inaccessible. But today, pretty much anybody has the opportunity to become an artist, and just, you know, you could just post about it on Instagram, and you're an artist. We have come a long way. We've definitely come a long way. And some people think that's a good thing, some people think that's a bad thing, but let's do this. So if we got red and then green, red, green, let's go with a yellow. Yeah, we haven't done a yellow face yet in a little while. So we're just going to go with this yellow to really paint in some of these spaces here. Let's go like this. Let's see what happens when we start to mix some of these yellows. We use a couple different yellows here, so that ultimately what we do is we create some oranges and light greens. We get a wide range of colors here. It's the Christmas face. We call it the Christmas face. And I do want to say right now, that we're gonna be checking out soon. I'm gonna be, after this head, I'm gonna be signing out to watch a show called The Sympathizer. This is a plug for the show The Sympathizer. It's a great show that's right now on HBO Max if anyone's watching it. HBO Max, there's a show called The Sympathizer, and it's really interesting. It's about a communist spy who spies on, who's able to like infiltrate the South Vietnam during the Vietnam War, and basically they're a spy for the communists, and it's about like his story. Robert Downey Jr.'s in it, Park Chan-wook is in it, and a lot of other great up and coming Vietnamese actors, or a lot of actors that aren't up and coming. They've already been around, but as far as a show goes, it's kind of cool to see more Asian American stories, whether it be Vietnamese, Korean, Chinese, whatever. But very nice to see such a wide range of stories coming out. So I like the show, pretty good. I recommend it. It's called The Sympathizer on HBO, and I think it's Sundays at 6 a.m. Might be I thought it was Mondays, but it seems like it's actually Sundays, because I just recently heard that got a reminder that it was on tonight, and I think it's on actually right now. So if I'm streaming and people are watching it, they're not going to be hearing this, but we'll go ahead and watch that here in a few moments. I'm gonna hop off of this, but I do want to play a bit more with some of the colors on this figure here. I want to play a bit with our green and just see what happens when we start to like layer certain colors. Let's see what happens when we start to do some more layering on these figures here. It creates a feeling, creates a different kind of, makes you feel differently about the drawing itself. A little bit of white, blending in some of the red. And here we go. So, got this face. Now let's just do the line sketch of this. Just the line sketch itself. And then we'll move on to something else. We're actually going to take a break here. So do the line sketch of this. Let's do the line sketch. We're going to go almost a straight line. Excuse me, sketch down. Another line that kind of comes down like that. A long nose that's longer than that. And then bring down that. Come around just to the face, so it should come around right here. And there we have that. So let's do that. Then we've got there we go. Pop this down. Pop this down. eye back. This side up. Bam. Bam. And there we go. So we're gonna shadow this in here. Use these curvy lines to shadow, create our shadow. And here we go. So there we have that. So we're gonna take a break after this, but you know, just working through these. Hey, we got Kev Bear 0912 and Journey. Wow, y'all came at an interesting time. So it's just about to go watch a show called The Sympathizer, which comes out on Sundays on HBO Max at 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Pacific, 9, 8, 7, 6. So it's on right now. I've been following it. I've been streaming for about an hour and 47 minutes now, but this is what we're making. So this is all from a book. Allow me to introduce this. So if y'all are interested, you can come back another day. Thank you for jumping in and asking a question, though, by the way. Hello, welcome, Kev Bear and Journey. By the way, I'm streaming on multiple platforms. So, you know, if you don't see a chat in a room, or if I'm talking to somebody and it's not you, it's probably because of that. But what we're working on right now is we're working through this book, The Ultimate Bargue Drawing Collection. And what it is it's a collection of what they call plates, drawings and sketches. And it was a classical book to teach people how to draw in like, you know, the old days from the mid 1800s. So it's not really that old, but basically what they did is they studied molds, and some guy named Charles Bargue, put this together. And basically you just copy everything. Copy as much as you can from this book. So Vincent van Gogh learned from this book. I think Gustav Klimt maybe studied from this book. Picasso studied some of these, and a lot of artists went through this entire book. And of course, you know, I live in 2024. It's 2024 where I live. I don't know where you live, but you know, times have changed. Tastes have definitely changed. So, you know, it's really a question of your tastes. If you can't stand, you know, classical styles and drawing, then maybe this book might not be for you. But, you know, if you've always been curious of different ways to draw and paint, you want to up your skills or change the way you do things, this is an opportunity. Although here's an interesting thing. I'm just realizing now that it's on page 277. Once I get to page 270, that everything just kind of repeats itself with a grid. So I don't know how I feel about that. I might not go through those again, but so far, great book. You start to feel like you're learning how to draw really quickly, and that's a great feeling when you can start to see progress. It's like when you start to see abs for the first time after you've been working out very seriously for 3 to 6 months, and you can kind of start to see your abs appear, or you start to see, you know, your body transform from all that hard work that you've been putting in, or you start to notice like your lungs are getting better from cardiovascular stuff that you've been working on. So it's kind of like that. It's a really good feeling to be able to see the results. And I think with this book, you can see results pretty quickly because, you know, you have this thing to look at right next to you, shows you the exact lines you need to make, and you just like compare. And if you're close, you're good. And if you're not close, you just keep working at it. You have like 300, hundreds of other pieces to work with. And one thing I don't know about this is a grid workbook is basically just a repeat of the non-grid workbook. So, I don't know. We'll see if I end up using that. But with that, for those of you that tuned in, thanks for jumping in here. Really glad you got to make it, and have a great day. Let's see if this ends. Ah, it's ending. Wonderful. Last time it did.